Hey guys, it is Kevin here in Japan, and you know what? The heat is downright oppressive, and I'm just walking along the street here, and I can tell behind me that in this little area, I see a stage there, and there must have been a little Bonodori Matsuri here last night, a very small little neighborhood Matsuri. So I see there was probably some people dancing, and maybe some little yatai and some tents selling food and having games and all that. So Kevin here in Japan, I want to tell you something. It's summer, it's oppressively hot, it's bloody hot, it's horrible, it's uncomfortable, it's really humid, and that's just the way it is every summer in Japan for the most part, unless you live in the northern part in Hokkaido. And I just want to make this as part of my kind of like little life in Japan series I've started here in jlandkev. And for those of you who are new to this channel, you'll notice on my Busan Kevin channel, the videos are edited, very edited for the most part. jlandkev, everything is shot directly. It's shot with my iPhone and uploaded without any editing to YouTube from my iPhone. And I'm not pitching iPhone, it's just what I got. So summer in Japan is bloody hot, and there's different ways you can combat that heat. Now, one of the reasons why it's probably more uncomfortable than other places is because in Japan, they tend not to have central air conditioning. Aside from like a shopping mall, a store, that kind of place. But people's homes, your businesses, schools, don't have central air conditioning. Now, if you're a student like in a public school, you're a kid in a public school, you're not even going to have air conditioning, period, unless you go to some kind of rich private school. For them, you know, it's going to be really hot, humid, and you're just going to have some like fans. So that's one thing. Okay, so there's no central heating. So what you basically have, each room would have an air conditioning system. And you can just see like that Panasonic box on the outside of that apartment right there. That would be an air conditioning system, a wall unit that would air condition one room. And it's expensive to run those things, so people try not to use them as much as possible. So how do you cope with the heat? Well, you can stay in the shade like I'm doing right now. Of course, you know, might have air conditioning in your house, probably, hopefully. Fans, you can have your typical oscillating fans. Those are always good. There's a lot of different things people use here. Cool packs. You have these special, like a neckerchief that goes around your neck that cools you down. There's all kinds of things. For example, on your bed, you might have this like thin terry cloth kind of cover sheet that goes over your bed, and you'd have a terry cloth blanket. It's called a jlandkev. Somewhere between towel, which is made of terry cloth, and a blanket, jlandkev, and that basically is used to absorb sweat. So it's not easy. It's not comfortable. There's also these things like, for example, I used today after running around with the kids outside, my students. I had these things called body sheets, Gatsby body sheets, and they're essentially these kind of like a large wet wipe you wipe over your body, and it's got, the ones I use have like a menthol in them, so it cools your skin. I also have, my wife bought me this like menthol, ooh, wow, look at all this basil. That's a lot of nice looking basil. Smells good. I've got tons of basil at home. I don't need to steal any of theirs. Not that I would. But there's, so yeah, she bought me this menthol body wash, which is really nice, actually. It feels really good for a little while after a shower. So yeah, summer in Japan. It is pretty nasty. It's hotter in some areas than others. And again, I live in Kansai. So in the Kansai area, it's hot. But if you were to live, say, for example, in Kyoto, which is still in Kansai, Kyoto is even hotter than in Kobe, where I live. And then I can imagine if you live in an area, like if you live in Tokyo, where there's like very little green space, a big city like that would probably have its own microclimate surrounding it, or above it, I should say. So it's even more intense when it comes to heat and humidity. One thing that saves me a little bit, I guess, where I live, it probably could be worse, is that I live right on the ocean. So you get a bit of a breeze that way. Ooh, I'm being kind of stalked by a large hornet. Ugh, try to avoid that. Yeah, so this year has been unusually hot in North America and a lot of other places. Typically, the way it works when I talk to my family and friends back home is that I'm having to suffer through a much hotter summer than they are. But actually this year it's kind of on par. This is an interesting little place. Cute little shop or something. Yeah. So, if you're in Japan, what do you do to cope with the extreme heat? I'm curious. Let me know. Maybe you have some advice for me. And if you're not in Japan, wherever you live, is it hot where you live? And if it is hot where you live, how do you deal with it? How do you cope with it? And if it's not hot where you live, well, then you're just plain lucky. I envy you. I grew up in like Nova Scotia, Canada, where I grew up, like as a kid, I think the kind of average summer temperatures would have been low to mid 20s maximum in Celsius. All right, guys, Kevin here in Japan talking about the heat, dealing with summer heat. And it's hot, and this is a very cool little alley I'm walking down. I love little alleys, people's homes. All right, guys, take care. Thank you for watching the video, as always. Thank you for liking the video if you enjoyed it, and thank you for checking out the links below. Click on those links, click on that like button, all that stuff. And I hope you're enjoying this unedited Life in Japan series. Tell me what else would you like me to make a video about in this series? Leave a comment below. Give me some ideas, guys. What do you want me to talk about? Some things I just don't know anything about. Other things I can. If I don't know anything about the topic, I'll tell you. Okay. All right, guys. Later.